another example of just, I don't know, this is going to sound like overly crude, but just how piss poor baseball's leadership is. Now, I want to be clear about it. This was not easy. All right, I want to be fair to baseball in that regard, after I said they have piss poor leadership. But the options were not incredibly appealing no matter how you sliced it, and we can't control the weather no matter how much we hope in refreshing apps that it's going to change things. But the problem was, all right, so the gates open up at 5, and then at 6:30, they announced that there's going to be a delay. All right, that's fine. Not a single official update between 6:20 and 9:35. And I'm refreshing Twitter. Get a little drib here from so-and-so. And then you watch the 3 channels that theoretically should tell us what the hell's going on. And on TBS, you've got Dwayne Wade's game show. On MLB Network, you've got Billy Ripken throwing batting practice to Jim Thome in the which I would love to take BP there, which looks fun, but that's not what you're looking for last night. And then on the Yes Network, I don't know, they have wraparound programming. I'm thinking maybe we get something. They've got soccer. I mean, if you told me that it was March 19th and the Yankees were playing the Pirates in Bradenton, spring training, first game of the year, and we couldn't get an update, I'd say, okay, this was game 5. What a mess.
Yeah, it was a
for
mess.
Baseball.
It was a mess for us as viewers because we wanted to see it. And look, I love Dwayne Wade, and I love this new show concept. I had zero desire to watch this show. I kept turning it on like, is the game started yet? I kept checking my phone. It's still delayed. I had no interest in, and that's a shame because I think that show is actually going to be pretty good for Dwayne Wade.
Give me baseball, not Dwayne Wade.
No interest in watching Dwayne Wade
Zero
on TBS last night. The other thing is that, and you didn't mention this, but this is a big deal. The fans who were there, I mean, Craig and Evan were at Hard Rock.
Evan once again brings a lot of rain with him. I'm starting to notice here he is a little bit of a weather mush
for hours. BT hours.
I know.
Hours.
Oh, C-Mac was there too.
He was there till 9:30.
I wonder if their scoring books got a little wet. they were both going to score it.
Zoo just told me that the Benihana ran out of food.
Was that a joke? I actually saw that on Twitter. Who knows? It wouldn't shock me.
I bet it's not.
I'm sure a lot of kegs were gone.
What else are you doing? You're just
drinking,
doing nothing,
and you're
drinking, and you're eating, and you're waiting until 9:30.
Yep.
To see a non-event. And now you got to go back tomorrow because their tickets are the same from the day.
And listen, this is where baseball messed up. The fact that, and we're not doing 4 hours on this, we're moving into the game fairly fast here. But you guys were at the stadium. You dealt with what you had to deal with. What a joke. 877-337-6666. The easiest thing when you do what we do for a living, right, is the easiest thing. And nobody worth their salt does this.
Nope.
Although some people maybe did in the past. But the easiest thing to do is ignore the fan. We are the exact opposite. You got hosed, you got screwed, and I'll tell you what baseball should do. Now, they won't do this. They definitely won't do this. What baseball should do is offer every fan, give it to them, a $50, minimally, I mean, I want to be fair, I could say 100, but I won't, a $50 voucher for the game. Now, you can't use it for booze because we'll have a nut show out there in the Bronx today. But whether it's for parking, whether it's for merch, whether it's for food, $50 for your troubles. What's it equate to? About $2.5 million. You want to have the Yankees that's not the Yankees' fault. But the Yankees did not do their job in terms of letting people know what the hell was going on. So I do say the Yankees are not culpable in the sloppiness of the evening. They did nothing, at least from what I was told and from people I've spoke to add any clarity, which is ridiculous. I mean, how can the Yankees Twitter account, right, have a 3.5-hour gap?
Yeah.
I mean, when social media is really the new way, and it has been for 10 years, to get news immediately, how does Yankees Twitter have 3 hours and 37 minutes without a single tweet about what the hell is going on?
So what you just suggested, and I saw you tweet this, they didn't actually do that. That was your suggestion.
What?
The tweet about the $50.
Oh, they won't do that. Of course they won't do that. They should do that for the people.
Are they doing anything?
Not to my knowledge.
And
here's what they did.
This was so disappointing.
This was the amazing concession the Yankees and Major League Baseball made for you, the people they don't care one iota about. They pushed it back to 4 o'clock today instead of 1. They're like, well, oh, yeah. And by the way, it probably helped some people, probably hurt some people. I mean, who knows? And I don't think that it's easy when it's raining. I get that. That's not the point. You can't control the front. You can't control the rain. You can't control what you tell your fans. And you can't control what you do to the fans and how you help the fans who lost a lot of money last night. In an awful economy. I mean, sometimes you just got to do the right thing. Even if you're buying points, buying equity, literally, sometimes you just have to do that.
Yeah, you do the right thing because it makes the fans feel like even though they were screwed, and regardless of what happens going forward, they're still screwed. At least they'll feel better about being screwed over.
Yes.
And the challenge was, at what point did Major League Baseball decide, or I guess the Yankees in the Rays? I mean, not the Rays, the Guardians. When did they decide that let's cancel this thing, as opposed to let's start it at 10 o'clock? They
did not want to start it past 10. That was, basically what happened. It was always, I got a text. I didn't even tweet, but I got a text where pretty early in the night, and I know that the Yanks and the Guardians and Major League Baseball were on constant Zooms, right? Of course, they're trying to do their job. Nobody's saying that they weren't trying to get it right. And they thought that they nailed it down where the start time was going to be around 9:45. And then what happened was the system popped up not far from where you and I live in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And obviously things move, things get pushed around, and they did not feel comfortable delaying it further and starting the game at 10:02, 10:19, 10:20. And I don't blame them for that. At that point, that is just sheer lunacy.
That's a late night, dude.
Lunacy, dude. So, when that happened, they made the determination. That's one of the few things they got right last night. I just, I don't know. I don't know. There's various levels of culpability. I'm not going to scream about this for 4 hours. Nobody wants to hear it. But I don't blame you. You're pissed off. And, these are the things. These are the things, as we talk about, it's harder. First of all, much more difficult economically to be a fan today. All right? Everybody knows that. But it seems like the callousness or the lack of regard, like how obtuse these sports are towards us, it's like you almost don't want to support the product after a while. Now, we will, because we love the Yankees, like we love our football teams, like we love the Knicks, which is why for 20 years, despite the Knicks being a sieve, we still go. But, I mean, how much can you take, man? Imagine you drag your kids to the game last night. Daddy, when's first pitch? I don't know. Nobody's telling me anything, son or daughter. Daddy, is the game going to start soon? I don't know. They're not telling us anything. Daddy, can I get some more food? I'm hungry. Yeah, sure. Even though I'm a couple of $1,000s in the hole because everything is out of whack financially. It's just a bad look.
Yeah, I hear
you.
It's
a bad look.
I can imagine. I couldn't imagine being there with kids. I don't know how many kids were there. I didn't see any looks at the stadium, but if my kids were there and they were sitting around doing nothing,
I would have left. I mean, my son's 7.
That's what I'm saying. But if I had kids that were that age that were just sitting there doing nothing, for 3 hours, not even watching anything.
You didn't bring the iPad in because we're watching baseball, so what the hell are you going to do?
And your phone is half dead because they've been watching it.
And you didn't bring your charger because you don't think,
There's nowhere to charge it into.
Man.
That would have been rough.
Oh, man. And, it's funny. I was letting Colt stay up to watch the game. And I was having a lot of interaction.
When did you pull the plug?
As soon as it said, Cassidy, get upstairs, brush your teeth, go to bed. Get out of here.
So you let him hang till 9?
Hell yeah, I let him hang till 9. I let him hang till 9:30. I told you. Listen, I don't lie when I tell you I'm going to do that. It's Game 5. He's a Yankees fan. To me, 7 years old is the wheelhouse of impression. Like, those are the things. Now, I can recollect some things from when I was like 4 and 5. Others can't, others can't. But in terms of, like, shaping your fandom, I mean, this is wheelhouse time, and all right, again, if he wasn't a good student, if he wasn't a good kid, maybe we have a different discussion, but it is Game 5. So, I don't have to deal with him in school today. Daddy's just got to talk to New York and rave and bitch about the Yankees, and, well, less about the Yankees, Major League Baseball. So, We wish we had something better for you. You know, it is what it is. And I got a lot of tweets from people. Hey, and this is the difference about the kids. It's not that big of a deal. I'm sitting here drinking. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. So, okay, I've told you before, I was at 2 games in the 96 World Series. Mm-hmm. If I'm there and I'm 22 years old and I'm with 7 of my boys and I'm pounding booze and I'm single and we're all having a good time, I'm not in a rush to leave. I don't care if I'm wet. I don't care if I miss work the next day because I have no responsibility. I certainly have no children, and I have no wife. I can do whatever the hell I want. I'm not talking to you. That's a fun night out. You get looped up a little bit. You have fun. But if you're with your kids or your dad, or it's a nightmare. Mm-hmm. So that's it. You know, it's just now it's about winning a game.
Well, and
Let's
now
go.
The good thing, I guess if you can call it a good thing, is that instead of Jameson Taillon, on the mound, it's going to be Nestor Cortez.
Mm-hmm.
You got to believe that on 3 days rest, that Jameson Taillon is going to be up quick if it gets a little bit out of whack for Nestor. But you got to.
I don't know if he'd be the first one up.
Why not?
I don't love him coming out of the pen.
Who would be? Who would it be?
I don't know. I don't know, and I hate to say that I don't know that I agree without an answer, but I don't know that Boone loves him in that different role, and I don't know that I do.
Yeah, but I think that Jameson Taillon was positioned to be the starter yesterday, and now with Nestor on short rest, which I'm not sure he's ever done. I would assume he's never done it because he hasn't been a starter for that long. That 3 days rest, you're not going to keep him in there. You're not trying to get to 6 innings like you usually are with Nestor. There's going to be a keen eye, at least you hope there is, from Aaron Boone on Nestor Cortez. The question is, who's the next up in the pen for the Yankees?
Well,
tonight?
we're going to discuss that coming up next and we're going to give you guys a chance to vent for sure. That is a big theme of the day, but you better believe Tiki and I are going to map things out as we get ready for Game 5. And by the way, if the Yankees are lucky enough to emerge victorious, go get them in Houston tomorrow night. Hey! Oh, God. I'll tell you, baseball gets in its own way so much.
Yeah.
So can I just be the commissioner? Mm-hmm. I could change everything.
That's the other thing.
Well, at least let me talk to the commissioner.
Whoever wins tonight, 3 games, 4 days, 3 cities.
I think it's actually 12 games in 13 days if you're lucky enough to push forth into the world. Something wacky, 11 and 12. I don't know. Just something that is not very desirable.